What's happening? I know it's been a long time since I made a video. Things have been real busy either with work or it's snowing. Of course I plow on the side, so that's been taking up a lot of my time as well. But back in the trailer, got everything squared away, cleaned up, reorganized, and ready to go for like the next phase of the project. And I came in here a little bit yesterday after I cleaned up, and I did install the piston and cylinder, cleaned up the cylinder, put the rings on the piston. Got that all squared away. I'll show you here real quick. So here we go. Cylinder and piston are on. I'm ready to assemble the rest of the top end, but I'm going to move the engine aside and I'm going to get the new head, and we'll start assembling that. And then I also want to take out the valves from the old head and show you the seats and how bad the seats were on this actually. So we'll get all set up and organized, and we'll get to it. Alright, so we got the engine moved, surface kind of picked up a little bit here. Come over and get this bad Larry. Let's see what we got going on here. Spring compressor out here. One, two. Take this off. Okay. Spring. And your valve. So same process for the rest of them, so we're going to do that now and take the rest of these valves out. Well, and the last one. Alright, got them all out. So you can kind of see right there, that seat deteriorating right there, and then all around here this surface is gone. I don't think there was anything else. I think there was a little bit right here too. Yeah, right there. It's not absolutely terrible. Like I said, you know, I put some Sharpie on the valves and the surface and checked the mating surface, and it was still making a seal, but obviously with the seat deteriorating like that, that's not something you want to run. So what I think I'm going to do with this is I'm going to send this head out to Race Tech and just have them put some new valve seats in it and check the guides. If it needs guides, we'll put guides in it, and then I'll just keep this head. Looks like it's had some work done to it. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Just looks like some casting marks cleaned up. You know, so I mean, it's a good head. So we'll try to hold on to it, and we'll fix it up, and we'll keep it in the trailer in case I need it or someone needs one. But what we got to do now, because the new head doesn't come with the studs installed, nor does it come with this elbow here for the coolant. So we'll take some of the stuff off of here and get those dowel pins out of there, and we'll start getting the new head ready for all the new hardware. All right, best way to get these studs out is, you know, put one of your nuts on for the exhaust and grab the other side. You want to tighten it down onto each other. Do not use vice grips to try to crank these out. You're just going to ruin it. So just take one and tighten it down. Okay. You should be able to turn this right out of there. There you go. There we go. Wind this thing out. And there's your stud out. And then you just take these nuts off. Do the same thing to this one, and then we can install these in the new head. And look, there's no teeth from vice grips on it. There's the other one. Perfect. All right, now we'll take this 8mm bolt out. We'll take this pipe out, and there should be an O-ring in here that the kit came with to replace. You know, if it needs to be, we're going to replace it anyway because we have it. But we'll get this out of there. Alright, so this O-ring here should be one in the kit. Looks to be maybe this one here. Get up under this. Okay, is. Finish up. Yep, same one. Give this thing a wipe with a clean towel. Make sure there's no junk in there. Okay. Put the new seal or O-ring on. Good to go. Alright, so that piece is ready to go. These dowels out. If you can't get them out by hand like that, and you need to use, you know, pliers on it or something, like you need to get a pair of pliers on this thing, be careful, don't squish them because you'll deform them and they won't work very well anymore. But if you do have to, you know, put something in there to get them out, put something like a socket or something that'll keep the center from deforming. Let me see if I got something that'll fit in there. So this little 1/4-inch extension, you know, would be a good item to put in there, and then you could just use your pliers to get it out, and that'll just keep it from, you know, putting too much force on it, collapsing it. So also be careful if you do use pliers not to get a lot of teeth marks on this. If you do, get yourself a piece of like emery cloth or some really fine grit sandpaper and sand off those teeth marks. Ultimately, the best thing to do would be buy new dowels, but you could clean them up and use them again. So obviously the kit came with a new exhaust gasket. Take it out here. There's your new exhaust gasket. So when you put it in there and you tighten it down, this is what it becomes. Get up in here. Maybe. There it goes. So that's what that round gasket becomes. Don't reuse these. Most of your top end kits come with a new exhaust gasket, so do use it. You can lose a lot of power through exhaust leaks right there. And if it doesn't come with it, just order one. They're cheap. And if you're ordering one, they're cheap enough. Order yourself like 10 of them, throw them in your toolbox, and you never know when you're going to need one at, you know, some time where it's not convenient to order them, or if you got a buddy that needs one, you can help them out. So have some of these on hand. Alright, so we got all of our parts here for the new head, including the new head. So let's go ahead and lay this stuff out and see what we got. Alright, let's see what we got here. We got an exhaust side spring. Now, I don't know if you remember what I told you in an earlier video. The exhaust springs and the intake springs are two different springs, so don't mix them up. You know, write down their part numbers. We can take a measurement here in a little bit, and I'll show you the difference in the two of them. But just know that there is a difference, so don't mix them up. So we got exhaust spring, another exhaust spring, got our exhaust valve, another exhaust valve, intake spring, obviously two intake valves, and then all of our cotters. These are always fun to open up. I don't know why they package them individually. You use them in pairs. I don't know why they wouldn't sell them in pairs, but this is how they always come. But I got all new cotters for that as well. There is our brand new head. It's a lot nicer than the old one. The old one's definitely had some use to it. Yeah, someone's definitely done some work to it. Like, see if I can get you in here. I don't know if you can see the casting marks that are in there. And then you look at this one, it's definitely been worked a little bit. It would be nice to use this one. If I had the time to send this head out and get it done and put back on this bike, you know, I would, but I don't have that kind of time. So this will be like a project that I could do when I do have time and extra money too, you know, to send it out and have it be gone. But right now I need to get this bike together so it's going to get a brand new head. It's not a big deal that there's still casting marks in it. It just, that adds just a little bit more performance. But for the purpose of this being a nice turnkey motard for someone to have that's 100% brand new, you know, this is definitely the way to go. And then they can do whatever they want to it afterwards. Here's the new head. And then our wrench rabbit kit came with new valve seals. So we'll have new valve seals, 2 for each side. So that's the new head. Let's we'll start getting it assembled and put these other parts on it that came off the other one, and we'll get going on it. Let's do it. Alright, just lube this O-ring up with just a little bit of silicone spray here. Maybe. There we go. Lube that O-ring up with some silicone spray so you're not putting it in dry. Hee hee. There we go. Perfect. Bolt. It's back on here. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little anti-seize on these things. Clean them up a little bit first. Go. Take a little bit of anti-seize. Start it. Do the same thing on this one. There we go. And we'll wind nut on here. This one on here. Okay, now we've got our pipe installed with a new O-ring, studs installed, cleaned with some anti-seize on there. Now we can start getting our parts opened up for the valves, and we'll do some valve assembly. So this is one of the intake valves. Open up one of the exhaust valves here. So we got roughly 40 millimeters on the intake, and the exhaust, we got roughly 43 millimeters. Alright, 43 millimeters on the exhaust. So there is a difference, like I said, so don't mix them up. We'll go back to the intake here. Intake is roughly 40 millimeters. So 3 millimeters difference between the exhaust and the intake. So don't mix them up or you're going to probably have a bad day. Motor will not last very long. Alright, continue opening up these parts. And there's no difference on the cotters for intake or exhaust. They're the same ones. You don't necessarily have to replace these things every time, but they're so cheap, and you know, God forbid one got wore out that you didn't catch, and next thing you know, it flies out of your valve, you drop a valve, and your motor's kaput. So a little cheap insurance, that's all. And then these 4 are in Ziploc bags, so that would be nice. You imagine having a job where your job all day is to put that little cotter into this Ziploc baggie? That's your job today. Hopefully that's one of those automated jobs. Okay, valve seals. Exhaust valves. Go. One more spring. Perfect. Alright, so some other parts we're going to steal off this head is we'll pop these valve seals off, and then the plates that the springs sit on. I don't want to call it a seat and have you confused with the seat underneath the valve, but it's a spring seat. You know, we'll get this piece off. Alright? Intake side. Intake side. Exhaust side. Exhaust side. Perfect. All right. That should be all the parts off of this we're going to need, so we'll go ahead and get rid of this. Alright, so we're going to take our new valve seals, take just a little bit of clean oil, move everything up. Install the new valve seal. Valve seal. Perfect. Well, there we go. Oil. Valve seal. Perfect. Alright, so it doesn't matter where you start, just pick a side and stick with it. So if you're going to start with intake, do both the intakes. If you're going to do the exhaust, do both the exhaust. So we'll start with the exhaust. Grab our valve. A little oil on it. Start your valve. There you go. And then we're going to take the seat, spring seat that we took off the old head. Put that on this new head. We'll take our spring. See, it's got a little bit of paint on it. Paint you want facing up. There we go. This ain't gonna work. Well. Alright, so ran into a snag. Apparently the springs that the previous owner had on the bike are way different than OEM springs as far as inside diameter, because they have this dual spring. So what that means is the spring seat that we're using from that old head will not fit. It just won't mate up very well to the new spring. So these are the spring seats off of the old head. These are our new ones, and they don't quite fit on there, and definitely not going to do that. So I'm going to have to order up some new spring seats, OEM ones, and get them on the way, but that's fine. They'll be here within a couple of days, I'm sure. So for now, I guess that's what we're going to be done with for today. But we got the new head prepped and ready to go, so I'm happy with that progress. So for now, that's it. I'll get the new parts in and complete the head assembly later. So thanks for watching. Have patience. I'm sorry that it's been a while, but we're getting there. I'm finding the time now to get in here, so stick with it. I'm going to stick with it, and we're going to have a bitchin' bike at the end of this. So thank you.